All right, so I've got a recipe for world peace here. It's funny because I think a lot of people, a lot of humanity doesn't want world peace anymore. That's what I see, and that's sad. When I was a kid, my parents were hippies, and they talked about world peace and the idea of world peace. And I thought world peace was going to happen in our lifetimes, and it's just we're like 5 feet away from it through ascension and the idea of ascension. I guess world peace can still happen in our lifetimes, and that would be wonderful, and we want to see that. But that doesn't mean one group that we disagree with goes away and then everybody else has peace. And that's the key, okay? So here's the problem: liberals and conservatives, Christians and pagans, whatever you want to say, like two opposing sides. Okay, you got that in Muslim culture. You know, you have the Sunnis and the Shias. You got Catholics and Protestants, Christians and pagans. You know, I mean, you have all these different like A or B, A or B, A or Z, really. Um, and and these people have this mentality, especially today, and the Illuminati is mostly to blame for this. They've pushed this mentality, but it's like convert or die, and that's ridiculous. Okay, that means that the only way we're going to have world peace is if everybody converts to the thinking of me and thinks the same way as me. Well, that's wrong. That's not true. You know, I mean, you can still have world peace without that, and the Illuminati is pushing that. Mass media is pushing that divide and conquer. You know, whatever happened to united we stand, divided we fall. Well, they know that, and so they're dividing us so that they can destroy the freedom that is America. Because that doesn't freedom is not going to help the Illuminati achieve their goals. Okay, freedom is not going to help rich ultra rich people who buy politicians their goals. Being rich, there's nothing wrong with being rich. You know, you live a good life, be rich. Like, be rich with money. I don't care. That's fine. But you don't get to go buy politicians and make up your own rules and live above the law just because you're rich. And most rich people think they can do that. Not all, but most. Point is, so, I mean, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call that, is pushing the different aspects of what they have to push in order to divide us all. You have lots of politicians in Congress and probably in Parliament in Europe and Canada and a lot of the Western world, especially, where these politicians are also pushing this divide and conquer tactic. Divide us up so that we can't fight them, so that we can't fight our true enemies, and then they'll just take away our freedoms and rights. And a lot of people are begging them to take away freedoms and rights every day, and thanking them for taking away our freedoms and rights, or other people's freedoms and rights. That these people who are thanking them are like, oh, thank you for taking away those people's freedoms and rights. Not they don't think they're losing their freedoms and rights. And then these people over here are like, wait a minute, where's my freedoms and rights and privileges? And the answer is debate. Okay. We all know that the presidential debates and the congressional debates are a joke at this point. I mean, they're all planned out. The questions are planned. Who's going to ask them is planned, and the winner is probably already decided. And if it's not, then they decide on, okay, it can be politician A or politician B, and they both owe their allegiance to what? I don't know, the 13 ruling families that are the richest families in the world. I don't know. They owe their allegiance to Satan. I don't know. But they owe their allegiance to the same entity. And it's easier to just say the Illuminati, right? So we'll say that. A lot of people laugh at you and think it's not even worth it. Well, don't call it the Illuminati if you want to, if you don't want to. But shadow government, deep state, whatever it might be, you know, the politicians we have in there are all loyal to them, and they're going to do whatever they're told to do. They're not going to do what we vote on. They're not going to do what we want. They're going to give us just enough to make us shut up. So the answer here is debate. Policy. Debating policy, okay? I mean, it used to be that Democrats were very anti-war, and now they're damn sure ready to go to war with Russia. That's not a good thing. That's not a good idea. We just finished a war with half of the Middle East, and now you want to go to war with Russia? Oh, because the media tells them to. The media tells them that. I saw a video the other day of this liberal woman being like, "You're not a real liberal if you don't wear a mask." I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. These people have multiple jabs and they still want to force masks on each other? That okay, well that's none of my business. So let's debate, okay? Let's debate about it. And debate means that the left can't sit here and scream names at the right, and the right can't sit here and just make fun of the left all day long. You can't just. I mean, that's what's happening right now. If you were to get non politicians into a debate, from what I've seen on YouTube and Instagram and other social media websites, the liberals are screaming Nazi, fascist, bigot, racist, just screaming names at people, calling people names and screaming, and they just. Okay, that's not debating. And it's ridiculous when you see it. They look like spoiled fucking children, man. It's ridiculous. Okay, the opposition might be racist. They might be a bigot. They might be a Nazi. They might be all these different things. But I mean, if that's the case, you're not gonna create world peace and come to some understanding. You want to go to war? You want to have civil war? I don't. I don't want to have civil war. I don't want to have a war in America between liberals and conservatives. I don't want to have a war between pagans and Christians. Most pagans are liberals, and they're more liberal than me. And I'm a libertarian, and I mean I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody, but um, I mean all these different groups have got to come together, and all these different groups need to have healthy debate. And when it comes to politics, I think the libertarians could probably be the ones doing the mediating, have a libertarian in there mediating between a Republican and a Democrat. And I think that's a pretty daggone good idea. It just popped into my head last week. They could be the ones asking the questions. And when somebody starts calling names, the libertarian steps in. Okay, I didn't say anything about conservatives in these debate situations. Conservatives are antagonizing the liberals. I mean, they know they disagree with this liberal policy or that liberal policy, and so they antagonize them. I experienced this as when I first became vegetarian, because a bunch of rednecks and also a bunch of just jerk asshole hippie kids would be like, well, if you eat this, why not that? If you eat this, why not that? It's like, you know what? Just respect my personal belief structure, and don't say your food is vegan when it's not vegan, I mean, don't cross contaminate and then false advertise that you have vegan options when you don't. But they would get mad at me and or not mad at me, question. It's more than just questioning. It's not, oh, I want to learn and I want to figure it out. No, they want to make you feel like an idiot so that you'll take their side, and that you'll be like, you know what? You're right, man. I'm not going to be a vegetarian. I'm not going to be a liberal. I'm not going to be a pagan. So Christians do it too. They try to tell you you're going to hell, and they don't want to debate. They don't want to debate anything, because they know they're, and some deep down, fundamentalists on the left or the right know they're in the wrong. Okay, people who are just so extreme, people who are so like far left or so far right, they know they're wrong in some sense. They know it's wrong of them to treat people badly, and so they come up with lies like, I'm trying to save your soul, or we just want equality for everyone. Well, this is America. You got equality. Or they say, I'm just trying to learn. No, you're not. You're trying to convert me. And I see through your BS. Now some people want to learn. Some people do want to be friends and get along and just understand why the opposition thinks that they think, why they think what they think. And that's great. That's what we need. We need more of that. If I had to take a guess, I understand statistics. I'm not taking a statistical poll here, but if I had to take a guess, I'd say less than 30% of people actually want to learn and get along. Everyone just the rest of them just want to belittle everyone else and treat everybody badly, and then have the convert or die mentality, which is what the Illuminati has been pushing for centuries, probably, I'm sure. If you're not exactly like us, then you deserve to die. Well, that's ridiculous. That's not peace, okay? So if you can have a Christian and a pagan, or a Protestant and a Catholic, or a Baptist, a Republican and a Democrat sit down and have a meaningful debate, and then everybody, I mean, weekly, daily, you can't just one debate and, oh, we're done here. We have to encourage debate within our communities so that people will start to understand again and be like, okay, I disagree with you, but you still have a right to live. You still have a right to not be killed, or to be have the shit beat out of you because of your political beliefs or your religious beliefs. That's unacceptable. I don't care if you're a liberal or a conservative. I don't care if you're afraid of gays and you're homophobic. I don't care if you're completely anti-conservative and think all conservatives are Nazis. No one has a right to go out into the street and start a fight with somebody. The only reason you should have to fight with somebody is to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones, maybe your neighbors, And in which case, the person starting the fight over there is wrong. That's the only time that fighting is acceptable. Invading somebody else's country, that's not acceptable. Invading somebody else's neighborhood, that's not acceptable. Going and burning down some rich person's business is not acceptable. Going and burning down some poor person who just happened to start a business, burning down their business, is wrong. And that's what that during the Trump regime, that's what happened constantly. The liberals are just burning down people's businesses and acting like it's socialism. You want socialism? That's when the government takes your rights away and tells you what you will do, or you will go to jail. Oh yeah, you can have a little bit of free food and a little bit of free medicine. Now go work this job that you don't want to work. I'm not getting on to socialism here. We have socialists and libertarians debating. That's fine. That's great. And then after the debate's over, everybody pats each other on the back and says, hey, shakes hands and great job on your debate. You had some good points. I still disagree with you, but hey, we're all human and we're all family, and united we stand, right? Humanity needs to unite against the Illuminati, but the Illuminati is sitting here pitting everyone against each other, because then we won't look up and say, wait a minute. Those are the real assholes over there. And it's not rich people either, okay? It's the elite. It's the 1%. That's not rich people, That's not all rich people. If you got 100,000, 250,000, a million, 5 million, heck, 10 billion, I don't care. Do you follow the rules? Do you try to take away other people's rights? Do you pay politicians to do what you want them to do instead of what they're supposed to do? Do you finance politicians and then tell them that you expect this of them, or you won't finance them next term? Then that's wrong, and those people should be in prison for life without the opportunity of parole. Do you engage in fucked up pedophilic acts that should put you at the very least into a psych ward for the rest of your life, if not federal prison for the rest of your life? We have mandatory we're not getting onto mandatory okay, we're not getting onto that. Point is we have to debate. We have to say, here's what you say first. You say, am I taking somebody's rights and freedoms away? And then you say, okay, well, what can we do to not take away their rights and freedoms, but to still maybe have this debate? Or how can we discuss this? How can we come up with a solution to this problem? Not screaming names at people, belittling people for their beliefs, telling people they're going to hell. You're not going to convert somebody you might convert like 5% of non-Christians to Christianity by telling them they're going to hell, but nobody else cares. That either they don't believe in hell, or we believe in hell as something that Christians go to when they're bad. I'm not Christian, and that God doesn't have any control over me. But you know what? I don't know what's right for you, and you don't know what's right for me. I know a lot of people think they know what's right for others, but they don't. We don't know what's right for other people. And so our debate has to start with that knowledge, and our debate has to go along with, okay, well, am I trampling somebody else's rights? And when the left or the right, Democrats or Republicans, want to come in and say, let's take away these people's rights, then here's the libertarian in the middle that says, okay, wait a minute now. How is that person over there infringing on your rights and your freedoms? Okay, now I'm listening to you. I understand what you say. Opposition, what do you say? And then listen to the opposition. You can't just sit here and I mean, when I was younger, the conservatives didn't want anything to do with debate at all. It was just Christianity and the Bible, and that was it. Now, the liberals don't want anything to do with debate at all. They say, trust the science, or believe the science. You can't argue with science. Okay, I agree with you. But you say all scientists are telling the truth? Scientists are not... scientists are infallible or not... I mean, they're not infallible. Scientists can make mistakes. But more than that, scientists can be paid to lie. But hey, let's debate. You bring your sources. He'll bring his sources, and I'll bring my sources. And libertarians have a responsibility to try to show the rest of the world. You know, there's libertarians in almost every country. That's awesome. You don't have Republicans and Democrats in every country. But there's libertarians in almost every country because people know that libertarian philosophy is the only thing consistent with freedom. It is the only thing consistent with the universal law of free will. And we have a responsibility to try to help foster a dialogue and to try to help get people on the idea of peace, because that's the only way that we can all be free, is if we have peace. If you have people fighting and hating and killing and screaming and cussing and burning down, you ain't got no peace. And then one side does it to them, they do it to them, and then we're all caught, the rest of us are caught in the middle, and that's not fair. And they both want us to convert. All sides want my mother tries to remind me not to speak in absolutes. Most sides of arguments want everyone to convert to their way of believing, their thought process, and their belief structure, their religion, their political beliefs, everything. I don't care if you don't convert to my political beliefs or my religion. That's fine with me. But don't try to have a war or a street fight with me because I'm different. Okay, now I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm not racist or homophobic or anything like that. You know, I just want everybody to get along. I want freedom for everybody to make your own choices for yourself and your family. But these people over here think they think that way. These people over here think they think that way. So let's get everybody together and try to come up. You make laws by having these debates, especially local law, like little laws on the local levels. You know, you can. The Constitution says anything that's not guaranteed in the Constitution is supposed to be decided by on local levels. So your county, your your city, your state, whatever you want, you know. But that's how it's supposed to be done. The Illuminati doesn't want that. The politicians that you are voting, if you're a voter, hopefully you're not, but if you're a voter, then the politicians you're voting into office have their own agenda. And they don't care about you. Some might. Which ones? I don't know. I ain't going to vote for none of them. I'm not going to run the risk of voting for a satanic pedophile that works for the Illuminati. That's me. Whatever. I ain't got no proof. I might be completely wrong. Probably not, but I might be. I admit that I might be. Most people can't even admit that they might be wrong. Most people can't even admit that they don't know what's better for others. And everybody wants to force their own beliefs on other people. And then everybody says, we want to support diversity. Diversity within your little teeny tiny box? That's not diversity. That's the opposite of diversity. Whatever. You know, I mean, world peace is a very real thing. It's very achievable, and I think 90% of humanity probably wants it. Most, let's say most. I am not a statistician, and I know statistics can be lied by changing one number. Um, Most people on Earth want world peace. I hope most people on Earth realize that that doesn't mean convert or die. I know a lot of people don't. Most of us are sitting here working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week and ain't got no time to go debate anybody. And then all we see is some YouTube videos of hatred. YouTube is pushing that too. YouTube is Illuminati. And here I am posting on it. I like listening to YouTube music, that's for sure. But my YouTube feed puts it, I guess they think I'm a Republican because they put up all these conservative videos that show liberals in a really bad light. But then I can go look at a liberal like my mother or one of my really tight Aries friends, who are both good examples of good liberals. Both women who are just liberal. They believe in in the liberal political stuff, but they aren't trying to hurt anybody. They aren't trying to call people names or treat people like crap. And I know that there are more liberals out there like that, but that doesn't sell. So YouTube pushes to me a whole bunch of look how awful and stupid these liberals are. I am sure, without a doubt, that YouTube is also pushing to the liberals, look how awful these conservatives are. Look how terrible and evil these conservatives are. And then they're telling both sides, look how misguided these stupid libertarians are, when we're the only ones that even want peace. We're the only ones that want to convince everybody to get along and truly celebrate diversity. As long as you're not trying to go out there and beat somebody up or kill them or steal from them, then you're not hurting other people. If your belief system is that someone of a different race is lesser than you, I disagree with you. Skin color doesn't mean anything like that. But as long as you're not going out into the street and trying to fight somebody for their skin color, then you're fine. That's fine. I disagree with you. I have a right to disagree with you, and you have a right to your beliefs. And to tell someone that they don't have a right to their beliefs is wrong. If somebody thinks it's a sin to be gay, I don't agree with that. But that's their right to think that. If they're not going out and killing gays, then so what? Get over it. We can sit here and have debates all day about LGBT rights, but nobody's trying to take away LGBT rights. Liberals are pushing it so hard at this point that it's only a matter of time before LGBT folks have all the rights they want, plus more. And then I tried to debate this one with a far left-wing liberal the other day. You have far left-wing liberals who are trying to take people's children away from them because they voted for Donald Trump, or because they're Christian and they don't believe in LGBT, they don't believe that they want their children to be LGBT. Well, 10, 20 years ago, you had conservatives trying to take people's children away because they were pagan. I'm pagan. I had to watch pagans go through that from conservatives who said, we're going to take your kids away from you because you're pagan. That's messed up. And now they're not trying to take kids away from families who are taking them to a drag show where the drag queen is next to naked. That's pretty skewed, but that's what the Illuminati wants. That's what Satan wants. And if you're Satanist, we have freedom of religion here. I disagree with you being Satanist because that's not cool. And Satan is a trickster god that wants people to follow him and get their worship. Most gods and goddesses just want people's worship, and you don't have to give it to anybody. But Satan wants to trick you and condemn you and make you be as opposite of what freedom and compassion and peace is. Satan doesn't want that. But you have every right to think what you want to think and worship who you want to worship, as long as you're not hurting other people. You going out and taking people's kids away, that's hurting people. You going out and stealing little kids off the street and selling them to the Illuminati, and they're getting away with it. People getting away with that mess all the time because the Illuminati wants their children. They want these children. Some people actually birth their children to sell them to the Illuminati. Not going to name any famous Hollywood names, but there's a bunch of them. You can look that way. There's a lot of YouTube videos on that. I'm sorry I get off on tangents sometimes when I make my videos, but sometimes things just need to be said. The only way we're going to have world peace is if people debate in a safe environment with security, because God knows everybody wants to just get into a fist fight today over different beliefs. And if libertarians will facilitate it, we have to shine the light on how to be, because liberals and conservatives apparently have forgotten. They listen to their we ain't got no politicians in office. We got a couple of Republicans and a couple of Democrats that might be kind of close to libertarian, but we ain't really got a lot of politicians. We ain't got much stake in the game anyway. But we are consistent with freedom, and all we care about is other people's freedom and making sure everybody has freedom, because if you don't have freedom, I can't have freedom, and if I can't have it, you can't have it, and that's how it's going to go. People are going to give away the left will take away the right's freedoms, and the right will take away the left's freedoms until there's no freedoms left, and as soon as you say something government doesn't like, they're going to take away your freedoms again. I asked that same liberal person the other day, I said, you want to take away the right to a conservative to say something that you consider to be hate speech, but they don't? Well, what's going to happen when they do it to you? And then she said, well, Trump already goes around suing people for saying bad things about him. I said, oh, that's true. So you want to let everybody do that? And she just kind of stared at me. I'm like, right, exactly. You don't want to let everybody do that. We don't want anybody to sue anybody over free speech. You can say with your words anything you want. Because if somebody, any politician can say, he said he didn't like me, so that's defamation of character, and I want him to go to jail forever. You think I'm crazy. Well, let's see if you think I'm crazy in a few more years. The way things are going, that's what they want. They don't want you to be able to say anything bad about the government. Like in China, you say something bad about the government, your social credit score is going to go down. You might even go to jail. So they want to get to that point here, but without making it just, we said no. They're going to say, oh, well, that was slander. You were slandering him. You slandered Donald Trump by saying that bad thing. You slandered Hillary Clinton by saying that bad thing. You're not allowed to slander them. I'm sorry, but here in America we have free speech. And anyone who takes away someone's free speech is trampling on rights and freedoms. That's taken away freedom of press. That's taken away so many other things with it. And they don't even see that. Nobody sees that. They're happy to have that taken away because they would never say that. They would never say that. So they want to take away the other team's right to say it, not even seeing that that team's going to take their right away too. The only way that we can all have freedom is if we just talk about it. Sit down, talk about it, shake hands, have a beer, have a juice if you don't want to drink a beer. Don't focus on the wrong part of the story, the narrative. Sit down, pat each other on the back, and let's talk our differences out. As long as nobody's trying to go out and beat the crap out of people, take people's kids away, we can come up with solutions to everything else. But the Illuminati, CNN, Fox, the Illuminati's mass media that they allow us to watch on cable, and even the ones, and everybody, oh, I don't watch those. I don't watch CNN and Fox. Well, the ones that you do watch are still biased. The ones that you still watch are still trying to push an agenda. You think news companies aren't trying to push an agenda? You must be nuts. All we got to do is sit down, pat each other on the back, and say, let's talk this out and not fight. That's all it's going to take. Calling names, belittling people, making fun of the opposition, screaming at each other. Those people are only going to be happy when it's convert or die. And that might get you killed, you know? Somebody's not going to convert, they're going to fight you. It might get you killed. No, they think that they're invincible. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want war in my streets. If you don't want war in your streets, then treating the opposition with a little bit of dignity and respect, treating them like they are a human being, is necessary. Accepting that other people have differing opinions than you have is necessary, and accepting it. You don't have to embrace it. You can try to change it. You can try to debate and change it. You can try to change the laws. But starting a fist fight over it, assuming that because somebody wears a Confederate flag, that makes them racist, bigot, homophobic. No, it means they're from the southern states. There are black people and LGBT people who wear Confederate flags on YouTube, on Facebook, on mainstream social media. Find them. I've posted them on my Facebook page. I guess I'm frustrated, because it's just, I know how close humanity could be to world peace if the Illuminati wasn't trying so hard, fighting tooth and nail to keep us all from it. They don't want it. World peace is not conducive for what the Illuminati and the governments of the world want. World peace, the kind of real world peace where we all debate and have a real structure for deciding on who's right and who's wrong, and okay, well, does that take away other people's freedom? They don't want you to have freedom. They don't want me to have freedom. And everybody's still just so brainwashed, and they don't think they are. That's where this term wokeism came from. The people, conspiracy theorists, started using it up and being like, oh, waking up to the lies of the Illuminati. And then they co-opted it and turned it back on us and gave it to the liberals and said, this makes you woke. You woke if you believe this. Only this. And then you're woke. No, they're not. They're just as brainwashed as people who think Trump wants to save us all. They're just as brainwashed. The liberals who think that Hillary is going to save us are just as brainwashed as the conservatives that think Trump is going to save us. If you think a politician is going to come save us, then you're brainwashed. If you think that we can vote away our problems, then you're brainwashed. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. We can still all get along. We can still have a juice or a beer or a smoke or whatever it takes to not want to fight each other and to achieve peace. Because otherwise you're going to have fighting in the streets. You're going to have fighting in the schools. You're going to have people trying to take away other people's rights and freedoms, and that's just unacceptable. We can't have that anymore. All right? I'm going to sign off because we're sitting here at 33 minutes and some change. Appreciate everybody watching my stuff, whoever's watching it. Send a video to your friends if you really like it. I appreciate it. A few more subscribes. I'm not looking to make any money, but I like my voice to be heard. I think we all like that. Thanks for checking out my video and sticking through it until the end. I got a couple of long ones. This is one of them. So thanks for being here and listening. Thanks for trying to make peace.